Is Into the Radius worth it in 2023? The short answer is yes. Honestly, I couldn't recommend it enough, but if you still need a little convincing, stick around. Into the Radius was originally released on July 20th, 2020. And what I'm getting at here is that it's not exactly a new game. It's gotten the treatment that not many VR games actually get, and that's constant development over the course of the last 3 years. What this inevitably led to is ultimately a highly polished survival shooter, and that honestly right now, no other VR game is coming close to touching. And honestly, the only thing I could think to even remotely complain about is sometimes opening drawers, but it seems to be hit or miss now. Honestly, back in the day it was absolutely terrible, but even that has been polished up. In fact, right now is probably honestly the best time to actually buy the game. Newer players are going to have a much easier and more fluid time playing Into the Radius than, say, 2 years ago. Not to mention, they've also had plenty of time to balance between graphics and stability. But these are just some benefits of the game having spent some time in development, meaning that when you do purchase it, you can expect to have a mostly polished game. I won't say that Into the Radius is completely bug-free, but they're few and far between. The reason why I bring this up is because if you've played any amount of VR games, you know about the inherent jank that comes with VR. So it's always nice to have a few games that work kinda like they're supposed to. But that's enough about that. Let's actually talk about what you'll be doing in Into the Radius. As I mentioned before, Into the Radius is a survival shooter. Not only are you going to be battling to the death with the creatures of the Radius, but you're also going to have to grab a snack along the way. Granted, the survival mechanics aren't too in-depth, mostly just eating and healing, but they are there. For me, honestly, the main star of this game is actually the enemies. From squid spiders to shadow people and just regular guys with guns, you're going to be challenged all the way through the Radius. And honestly, the AI isn't bad. You'll often find that in VR games, most enemies just kinda sorta walk at you. But in Into the Radius, most of the ranged enemies actually use cover. Not only that, they often work together in attempts to flush you out, leading to what is inevitably the best part of the game, and that's the shooting. After years of development, Into the Radius's firearms have gotten a major facelift. From sound design to firing mechanics, each gun feels unique and has its own personality. You're more than likely going to quickly find what suits your style and just really enjoy the intense firefights that can actually happen in Into the Radius. Because all the magazines have to be reloaded manually, sometimes you'll run out of ammo, leading to you frantically opening up your bag to try and grab a box to reload. Meanwhile, taking cover as pop shots ring around you and the melee enemies start to close in. I'd have to say, out of all games, Into the Radius for me has had the most intense firefights. But you won't be spending all your time shooting the bad guys. In order to shoot the bad guys, you're gonna need guns and ammo. And, unfortunately, it's not free. You're gonna need to be scrounging around for whatever it is you can sell. And maybe if you're lucky, you might find a free gun. Although it'll be pretty beat up and worn down, you might be able to repair it and use it later. But everybody knows the most valuable thing in the Radius is artifacts. Though they come with their own dangers, artifacts are actually worth quite a bit of money as long as you don't die trying. And if you ever get tired of looting and trying to hunt down artifacts, there's always missions at the terminal. This is going to give you some side jobs and objectives to do in order to earn a little bit of cash. Not only that, the terminal will actually lead you on the main quest. Yes, believe it or not, there's actually a main story to Into the Radius. Not to give out too many spoilers, but you're going to run into someone named Katya. Katya and how the Radius came to be is essentially what the main story is about. So not only are you struggling for survival, you're also trying to figure out what's actually going on. Overall, for me, Into the Radius is kind of a complete package. You have survival mechanics that aren't overbearing and cut into the gameplay. You have a wide variety of firearms to suit your playstyle. The fun of scrounging around for ammunition and any sort of valuables in old abandoned buildings and wreckage. Playing against actually dangerous AI. Not to mention having an actual main storyline to tie everything together. And that's not even to mention the environmental storytelling that's happening. And honestly, there's kind of a strange, depressing beauty to the whole game. Once again, I can't recommend Into the Radius enough. I know at the current price point of $30 might seem a little steep, but I can say that what you're getting out of it is really a one-of-a-kind experience. Currently in the VR market, there's just not that many gems, but I do think that Into the Radius deserves to be counted amongst them. It's not perfect, and there's a handful of bugs still present, but overall, Into the Radius is an easy buy for me. So in conclusion, is Into the Radius worth it in 2023? Damn right it is. If you've been sitting on the fence about the game, I hope I made you come on over a bit. And worst comes to worst, there's always the refund. But honestly, I don't think that'll happen. But that's all I got for now, guys, and I'll see you later.